Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa Elliott, and I'm here to talk to one of the co-writers of Southern Girls Always Survive, a book written by Mr. Rocky Yost and his sister Kennedy Yost. And I've got some questions about their collaboration process and about how the project is going and how he's come about all the research for the book. So right now I'd like to introduce Rocky Yost.
Hello, it's good to be here.
All right, Rocky, I have some questions for you and our viewers. And I want to start with, what inspired you to co-write the novel with your sister? How did your collaboration process work between the two of you?
I wanted to write a book, period, to see it concluded and see it finished. And I'd been writing for screenplays for so long, like 30-some years, and made some decent little films, usually guerrilla film style. But to get a real script through a real movie in the major leagues, it's such a haul. I mean, you got to please so many people. It's banging your head in day after day, year after year. It's just, a book is so much simpler. You got to please one person, yourself, or maybe two with the publisher. But these days, you can publish it yourself. And so I just wanted to do it and complete it.
So you and your sister worked well together?
We did real well together. We had been, the reason I chose her, I guess, she was there.
Right.
And we were working together, and we had a real estate company, and it was doing very well. Plus, it was, I was basing it not verbatim on her life, but I was impressed, and I liked the way her life was in certain blocks, from the high school years to her 5 or 6 years in Columbia, South Carolina, at USC, where she went to school, then 8 years at Aspen, back to Virginia. You know, it was easy, and I sort of worked up an outline with that, the development and arc of this protagonist who was a girl, which, again, not stroke for stroke her life, but a lot of it was her. Yeah.
Okay, so you said a lot of it was based on her. Not everything, not everything that she did,
No,
but how did you all work to fictionalize some of the other stuff that was in the book?
It was easy because I needed her input.
Mm-hmm.
And I would write it myself. And then in the mornings, we'd start at 9 o'clock with our coffee and go over. We'd actually read it, just like you do a screenplay. And she would have her input there, and she would make notes. And then at about 11:30, after we'd shoot for about 2.5, 3 hours, we put our books away and put our real estate hats on and go into the next company.
So writing across gender lines can be really challenging. How did you approach writing from the perspective of a young Southern woman?
Well, I found it pretty easy. I would just look across the desk and see Kennedy.
Right.
That was it. I mean, that was a wonderful thing. And I've been doing that a lot in working in films, because most of the films I made were in the boonies out here, not in LA or New York. You have great actresses and actors. Here we could find girls, women who were good actresses. We couldn't find leading men. Real hard to cast a low budget movie with locals. It's tough to cast that young 24-year-old Tom Cruise. You ain't gonna find him, but you can find plenty of good-looking girls who have acting talent. So often I found ourselves, okay, we got this great story, man, but okay, flip it, turn the protagonist into a girl.
Right.
I've done that before, so
So, how did you tap into the mindset and emotions of a young woman from the 1970s?
Well, first off, it was easy. Again, look across the table. There's Kennedy. I had her. But the 70s that was in 1970, I was second classman, junior, down at Virginia Military Institute playing football and in the ranks. And Kenny was graduating from high school. So, I mean, that was our era. Richard Nixon, Watergate, all of that. And Martha Mitchell and the whole shebang.
So, can you share your research process for ensuring the authenticity of Hilly's experiences as a college student in the South in the 1970s?
Once more, Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Yeah. She went to school at University of South Carolina, and she got a business administration degree. And it took her about 5.5, going on 6 years to get a 4-year degree. She majored in business and minored in party time. Took ample vacations. You gotta go to Mardi Gras, for goodness sakes, that's part of college experience. And my mother was just so happy when she graduated that she gave Kennedy a 1-week vacation to Aspen on a ski trip. And Kenny went out there and promptly stayed 8 years.
Oh my goodness.
She was like, well, I've got to start my professional life somewhere, and it looks like a lot of fun out here. There are all these young people and partying, and gosh, yes.
That's great. Now, how did you balance the input and insights of your sister with your own narrative writing style in the book?
Bottom line, neither one of us have egos. No, we were happy to be there, and we knew we had something. We got something there, and we knew we were, had a good idea, and what we were getting was good. We might give 50 pages to somebody, and everybody came back like, yeah, this is cool. I want to read more. What do you got?
Wow.
No, no egos. Yeah.
Were there any particular challenges you faced when diving into the darker themes of the novel, such as assault and loss? Is that hard?
Like Hilly, when she got assaulted sexually.
Right.
It was harder to do, and I found it awkward talking about the sex part of the stuff with my sister.
Right.
Would have been easier with just a regular girl.
Right.
I mean, I felt a little awkward, and it would have been just like, I guess, shooting it with camera
Right.
for a film. It just is,
A little uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rocky, what conversations did you and Kennedy have about the portrayal of real historic figures like Martha Mitchell and Ted Bundy in your book?
She was out in Aspen living. She was a real estate agent, an assistant manager at a bar, restaurant, and party girl. But she was out there enjoying life when Ted Bundy was brought to trial in Aspen because he had murdered a girl over in Snowmass, right next door, in the same county, Pitkin County. And it was a big deal. And Kenny was right there. And she actually went to one of the days in the court. And it was, Aspen itself had like a Saturday Night Live attitude. They laughed at everything, however serious. I mean, they were making T-shirts about Ted Bundy, and then lo and behold, he escapes from the court. They were taking a lunch break, and Ted Bundy was up in the library on the second floor and jumped out of the window and escaped and was on the loose for 8 days in the mountains. And she was there when all that stuff happened. She had a bird's eye view, and she and her buddy who was really into it. They went to one of the days in court, just as like going to a ball game or something.
What about Martha Mitchell?
Now, Martha Mitchell was, she was equally famous, and as we've mentioned, and I think she only lived till about 76 or 78, and but she was quite captivating. I was actually a fan of hers. I really liked her. She was spunky. She was irreverent sometimes. She drank a little too much. Good-looking woman, and it was. I thought she made a wonderful character for a novel. Yeah.
So, how did you ensure the portrayal of Hilly's resilience and growth did not overshadow the gravity of her trauma and her struggles?
I thought that was realistic. I really thought we pulled it off. I thought it was not. When you read the book, she didn't get over that easily after being assaulted. I mean, it was several years. I don't think she went out on a date for 4 years after that. She didn't date in high school college. She had to wrestle with it for quite a long time. I thought we were very on the money with that.
So, the book spans several decades and it touches on significant historical and cultural shifts. How did you integrate those elements into Hilly's personal story?
Honestly, like life, you roll with the punches. You adapt. But you still see the 20-year-old girl later. I mean, our book is only 15 years. It's from when she was 18 in 1970 through age 33 in 1985. So 70 to 85, which were some momentous times, big stuff from Watergate to Vietnam to Nixon to Martha Mitchell to Ted Bundy to, it was some historical highlights. And Hilly, she dealt with the normal stuff. Well, you have to deal with that. And but she had her inner demon she had to exercise.
So, how do you feel your life experience influenced the way you tell Hilly's story?
Wow, that's
a hard question.
That is a hard one. That's a good question, but it's hard. I think I've had to become more of a watcher and less somebody that runs his mouth all the time. And that's the key, I think. And I've become more observant through my years and on purpose. And I can go out and people watch. I can go out and sit for an hour in a coffee shop and just watch. And I'm thinking about a story or a script I'm working on. And, but that good question, hard question.
Yeah. So, what message do you hope readers, especially women, take away from this novel?
To be frank, I didn't set out to change the world. I wanted a good entertainment piece. I wanted something that would, I got my money's worth. That would entertain a woman or a man, anybody reading it. But it doesn't have to. We're coming up with the sequel. We're working on the sequel now.
Oh wow!
Excuse me.
Great.
Plus, I got a review from a movie maker that I've worked with, and this gal has done. I think she's produced like 15 movies of the week, and that world is changing. Netflix is taking over, and she sent me an example of a product she had under contract for about 2 years back. It was the vampire. Remember when vampire girls were the big thing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So she sent me. She had 2 writers of vampire novels under contract for a couple years, pushing to get it made. They couldn't quite pull it off, and finally she said, "I just gave up. It was too expensive to keep paying them for the options, and I just couldn't push it over the goal line." And she said, but she read Southern Girls and flipped. She said, "Oh my God, you've got one. You've got a winner here." She said, "Study this form and give me a 2-hour script and then about 10 thumbnails. Give me the little 1 to 2 paragraph thumbnail sketch of an episode. And it can be geared for 1 hour, probably 1 hour,
Right.
probably an hour." And she said, "But the first one has to be, like Game of Thrones, 2 hours, and after that, little 1 hour shots." She said, "Get me something together and I will get you a TV series for Southern Girls." Boom. So, with that in mind, will that happen? Damn, I hope so, but I'm not going to count on it. What I do know is we've done a book and it's going to get out there.
Awesome.
That's it, I mean, if a movie happens, wonderful, but that's always such a long
Yeah.
haul.
Big challenge.
We did the book, we're going to get a sequel, and I know it's going to sell, I don't know if it's going to sell a zillion, but I bet we sell 100,000 copies, but we'll see. And I'm very pleased to be here.
All right, so just a couple more questions for our
no,
viewers.
fine.
The antagonist of your story, Raleigh Gilchrist.
Raleigh.
He's a complex character and he has a significant role. How did you approach writing a character with such a stark contrast to Hilly's moral compass?
Well, I know a few people like that. Yeah, he was a nasty guy, rich, gets his way, buys his way, coddled, smart, lawyer, and all of a sudden he's in the state senate. And then next thing we know, he's in Congress. And then, Raleigh Gilchrist is, what's his name? Raleigh. I'm sure there's some good Raleighs out there, but the basic connotation is a spoiled brat, preppy.
We all know those.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, reflecting on your writing career, how has your storytelling evolved and what do you think this book says about your growth as a writer?
It's a different area. When I'm not in Hilly's world, I go into a world I know very well, and that's sports. And I'm working on some, I have a Little League Baseball screenplay under contract as we speak. Again, knock on wood. Is there any sure bet that's going to get made? No. But I've got some people really pushing it out there. It's under contract, and when they put some money down, they're serious, and option your stuff. And excuse me. But those are the two worlds. I'm sort of reminds me of us writing in the morning, and then I finished the coffee, and we got another 7 pages. Let's go into the real estate part of life. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's terrific, Rocky. I want to thank you for spending time answering these questions for our viewers. And again, everybody be on the lookout for Southern Girls Always Survive.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.